Around 3 years ago, I went from being a journalist working in Afghanistan for one of the biggest private TV newsrooms to being a journalist in exile. The media in Afghanistan, which we all worked very hard to build, has really regressed. And now, living outside my country, I feel a sense of determination to carry on, to keep some sort of diverse media alive for the people in Afghanistan.
We are getting a look at new video showing the Taliban inside the Afghan presidential palace there in Kabul.
Working in the media in Afghanistan has never been easy. Afghanistan, for many years, was one of the deadliest countries for journalists. During the years of international military presence and then our transition into democracy, the media opened up in ways that we never thought were possible. When I started working for Tolo News, it was more than just a job. It represented the transformative essence of Afghanistan that had been ruled by the Taliban throughout the 90s, but saw a new era after 2001. But what are the reasons behind such attacks? Why do you think it happened? I headed a news channel, but the Afghan media scene was very diverse. We promoted music and culture. We hosted presidential debates. We traveled across Afghanistan and showed the diversity of the country and its people in a way that many Afghans had not seen before. We knew that this media openness would not last under the Taliban. Since August 2021, media freedom in the country has been in a free fall. We have dropped from 121 on the World Press Freedom Index to 178. The Taliban have imposed many oppressive laws, and you can see that effect of them when you turn on the TV in Afghanistan. There is almost no room to critique the government. In fact, you cannot even speak about Taliban's senior leaders without using their religious titles.
The Afghanistan Islami Imarat, the Difala Sarparast Wazir, Maulavi Muhammad Yaqub Mujahid.
Radio stations in Mazar have reported that questions on call-in shows are monitored. The Taliban are even demanding phone numbers of callers who are critical of the regime must be passed on to them. The media is expected to serve as an extension of the government. For female journalists, the situation is even more dire. Firstly, they're not allowed to work in the state media. It's almost entirely men in the state media offices. In the privately owned media outlets, women can be employed, but with restrictions. If they are appearing on TV, they must cover their entire faces. Only their eyes can be seen. And they are forbidden from interviewing male subjects. And they are barred from most Taliban press conferences. A female journalist with a male cameraman is often asked to stay behind closed doors while her cameraman is allowed to go for an interview. The latest blow to our media ecosystem came with the new law that effectively bans any footage of living beings, humans and animals. According to the Taliban's interpretation of Sharia law, representing living things on a screen is against Islamic teachings. This law has caused a lot of backlash. Many Afghans are not in agreement with it. However, in provinces like Takhar and Kandahar and Helmand, the law has been fully implemented both on state broadcasters and on local channels. Government officials do not speak on camera. You have this absurd situation where you're watching the news with random shots of buildings and cars while voiceovers narrates the stories of the day. In places like Kabul, there is a debate going on about this law. Media workers that are trying to explain to the Taliban that look, media is also a tool for your political survival. They're hoping some exceptions can be made since it is in the interest of the Taliban, not because of a commitment to free media and the flow of information. My colleagues who remain in Afghanistan work under really tough conditions. I cannot sit here and criticize them if I don't do something myself. So, some of my colleagues joined me and we established Amu TV here in the United States. Amu TV is a small operation. We are largely funded through private donations from people who believe in free press in Afghanistan. We have a network of journalists who work undercover from Afghanistan. But we don't just do news programming, we do music, soap operas, cultural shows, and so on. Basically everything that's banned by the Taliban. The response has been overwhelming. We have this call-in show where people contact us over WhatsApp. We're getting 3,500 calls during 1 hour of a daily live show.
مکتب تا صنف 11 را خواندیم دیگه بعد از طالبان آمدن نتونستیم.
Our audiences in Afghanistan can watch us because even though the Taliban has a lot of control on the ground, they do not control the skies. We transmit via satellite, and in Afghanistan most of the private channels use satellite as well, so viewers watch a lot of TV that way. A survey conducted only 6 months after our broadcasting began put us ahead of many of the major channels in the country. Afghans understand what it means to resist and persist. Our nation has gone through so many different challenges. People have died in pursuit of a better future. And I personally feel a sense of duty to honor the resilience of the media in Afghanistan. We have seen what an open media space can be, and we don't want to lose it entirely. So while our colleagues inside Afghanistan strive to do what they can, we on the outside make our efforts as well.
Thank you for watching. Hit that like button and leave us a comment to let us know what you thought about anything we covered this week. And don't forget to follow us on social media. The links are in the description, and you can also subscribe to our newsletter for updates from the show.